And well done, Roger, for not saying anything. That's impressive. All right, we're going to move on to the last of the scheduled startups. And of course, we still have the Startup Alley audience choice to come. But please welcome to the stage from Trax, Vik Singh, the CEO, and Trevor Kaira, the VP of Engineering. Woo!
All right. Good? All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Vik Singh. This is Trevor Kaira. We are Trax. So picture this. You're out on the town on a pub crawl with all your good friends. It takes you all across the city. Everyone's snapping photos of the awesome time they're having and the epic night across all their devices. You want to tell that story as a shared experience in one place. That's a track. Or maybe you're at a wedding of your good friend and everyone's chronicling the entire event across all their devices, from the ceremony to the reception to the grand toast. You want to capture that entire event all in one place. That's also a track. Or finally, it's New Year's Eve and your friends are scattered across the world. Your friends are scattered across the world and they're taking photos as the ball drops one time zone after another. That's also a track. A track is a story told through photos that you make with your friends across space and time. Let's have a look at our iPhone app that's running on the iPad. So we're waiting for the iPad to restart to show our mobile application. But essentially, tracks are stories that you make with your friends. So you could create a track for any event, really. Create a track for your journey to disrupt. You could create a track for a weekend getaway. Create a track for just about anything. Oh my God. Terrible. So my background, so like Mark Davis, I actually was a venture capitalist with RRE Ventures, where I focused on consumer internet and mobile. And then I left to start my first company, which was a media sharing application in proximity, coined as the first disposable social network. And then I teamed up with AppFund, and then we started Trax in September. And then we were fortunate enough to get Trevor as our VP of Engineering and started building this in November. So thank you. So this is Trax. These are all the stories that I'm a member of. Some are more personal than others. Some I started, some people invited me to. When we were selected to launch a Disrupt, we were so pumped that we created a Journey to Disrupt track. So let's have a look at it. Our Journey to Disrupt starts all the way downtown at the coffee shops of Soho. It takes us to the Flatiron District where we set up our home base and continue to code through the night. And then finally, it takes us here to Pier 94 to be with all you awesome people. Each photo in this track has been added by a different member. You can also see the physical path of this journey connected on a map and the journey that each of us took to disrupt. But our journey to disrupt isn't quite over yet. And we're going to add you guys in this moment to our journey to disrupt. You guys want to smile? All right. Right. So magic is about to happen. There we are, Disrupt. So that's our mobile application. On top of that, we automatically publish your track to the web in this beautiful web interface. These are all the tracks that I belong to. This is the Disrupt track that we just showed you. And Trevor's worked his magic to create a beautiful interface for everyone to relive that story across space and time. But we're not done yet. We realize that tracks are really personal stories that you make with your friends. And sometimes you want to immortalize that event with an offline experience. So using our technology, we're able to auto-generate a printed magazine of your actual track for you to share and cherish forever. So Tracks takes an experience from mobile to web to print and publishes it together in a social platform. Thank you.
That's Tracks. And nicely recovered from the crash and still ended up under time.
Sorry about that. Our iPhone app is live, so please download it.
Well, thank you.
Hello. You know, to put the photos in Tracks, do you need to use your app for the capture, or can I actually take my Instagram, Flickr photos and stuff them in Tracks?
It's a great question. So over time, we're agnostic to like the input source. So wherever you take your photos, you want them to be part of a track and part of an experience. So right now, it's just with our iPhone app, but your Instagram photos are probably stored in your photo library. So we're pulling from the photo library anyway. So you can start with that, and then we're going to go and layer in other services over time.
So we'll be able to have my tweets, because at the end of the day, what's interesting is to put context around those stories. And so if you can put the Foursquare check-ins, if there is some data or some tweets, that would sort of make it more interesting.
Yeah, we definitely want to layer in a bunch of services over time. Photos are just the beginning. So there's notes and other things that you could add, potentially even other media types, to really tell the entire story. So it's definitely on the roadmap. We just wanted to launch with something very MVP to get sort of the focus out and the message clear.
What gives you the confidence that using Facebook and tagging people in pictures and then having pictures shared across pages isn't what most people want? Like, there's clearly more stuff here, but why do you think people will care?
I think there's a couple things. So a track is like a story, right? So if we've studied Facebook albums and Facebook photos in general, and you see one photo after another in a stream, it doesn't really tell a story. Or when you finally upload an album, it's kind of like a dead event. So a track is like a living, ongoing experience that's constantly being published. So that's part one. And part two is the privacy of it, right? So each member can seed the track and add to the track and can invite other members to the track. And some stories you just don't want to be published on Facebook.
So how does this interact with Facebook?
So right now, we actually took away tweeting and Facebook to just have a private experience. And the viral sort of loops we're building are kind of like a twofold loop. So you'll come into a track, and you'll be added to it. You add your photos to that story, and then maybe you want to tell a different story. So you'll create a new track and invite others into that. But over time, it's, you know, we definitely want to integrate with Facebook and Twitter. But we just wanted to launch, you know, something that's very simple for people to have this shared private experience.
I certainly respect the simplification. I'm curious why you have no text there. The experience doesn't even have a caption, and that's not technologically hard, obviously. So it feels like there's some important option about the commentary about the picture or the label of the picture that you've chosen not to enable. Why is that?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, you know, so text and captions and comments will add to the context of the story. But again, we just wanted to just put something super simple out there and layer that stuff on over time. We had it before, actually. We just took it out for this purpose.
Well, it feels very, well, that's what Path did, and I think they undid. So I think you might want to sort of undo that very quickly.
Right, right.
Do you have a login, for example, into the app?
What's that?
Do you have a login into the app?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's your own login?
There is a login.
So I think if you tested the Facebook login, it's beautifully designed. You only have to put your phone number in, and you'll get a lot more users using the app.
Yeah,
so I think you want to look at that. Even if you just use that as a bare minimum, it's pretty much the most beautiful design.
For sure, for sure. And we had Facebook Connect in as well, but we studied sort of like all the app reviews and whatnot. And last year, people really wanted Facebook Connect. It was so easy to log in. And now if you look at it, people are like, I don't want to log in with Facebook. I actually want to just log in with my own thing because they're kind of scared about all the data.
I think if you do the cohort analysis, you might find some different data.
Oh,
but you know, it's bold that you want to have your own network. Obviously, people make that choice, you know.
Right.
So the photos don't go to Facebook right now or anything. They just go in your. And are you signing up friends as well in the app? So you're inviting friends as soon as you create a track?
Yeah, you invite by email. They get an email which takes them to the app. And once they get the app the first time, it's pretty magical because they open it up and they're already in that person's track.
Can you interact with the app without being in it? So for example, SMS?
Yeah,
MMS?
so SMS and email adding is also on the roadmap.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what's the vision for making money?
So our revenue model is kind of threefold and it unveils over time. So we think there's a big demand for the print aspect. It's pretty high margin business. But every track is a different story, right? So your nightlife track is very different than the wedding track. So custom themes and layouts is also something that we're going to expose with our API. And over time, we do think that it could be a platform for brands to launch new products where they can invite, X number of people into a product launch and tell that story. So we're going to kind of go and roll those out. But our initial focus is on engagement.
I think it's going to be very tricky to get to large numbers around those limitations and constraints that you're adding. So we'd really sort of blow it up and try and figure out how we can leverage everything which is done in Facebook and Twitter and the other apps, and really sort of hone in on the value you create, which is creating context
together
that those other people sort of don't really do.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's just that if you look at conversion rates from just a Facebook or Twitter post, they're a lot lower than a personal invitation. So although you're not broadcasting publicly, you have a lot higher conversion rates when it's coming from your friends.
Okay, Roger, 10 seconds. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm cool.
Nope. Okay,
Thank you.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Round of applause for Trax.
Trevor.